Let's get it.
My nails too long to press the button this time, y'all.
I took advantage of mistrust, and I agree. I agree with you. Was it Mary Tool? I agree with you so much for that. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're getting a connection with Rockstar.
Hi.
Connection with Rockstar.
Hi. Oh. How you doing?
Rockstar.
I am currently feeding a little friend.
Hey, baby.
And talking to y'all. It's dinner time in the Rockstar
dinner time,
house.
Right?
Oh my gosh, how are you?
What's she eating for dinner? Because I want some.
I'm hungry.
Yes, it's mac and cheese and broccoli and chicken.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
There
you go.
Yes. Go ahead, Mom. You gotta do that.
Oh, you guys are so cute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Listen, we could not wait to talk to you. Because, first of all, we were so team Falte. We were so team Rockstar. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I absolutely love you. We absolutely love you. So thank you so much for joining Pop Smash. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, I love it. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. So we got to start from the beginning. Angel, what was you saying about
I was watching your page, right? And I was cracking up when you were talking about the glasses that you always wear, the big one, the nice. They are so cute. But I saw when you were saying that people always ask to try on your glasses and they don't know that they're prescription. And you said, I like when you start seeing their eyes starting to percolate. You're like, see, that's what you get. You're trying on my damn glasses.
Right. They get so messed up. And they're like, oh, because I see people eyeing them and they see the little product. And mind you, like, I wear my glasses every day.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind spending that. I have astigmatism in both eyes. I wear contact. Like, a bitch can't see. So, like, I really need the glasses. And people just eye them up and they're like, oh, those are great. And I'm like, yeah, you want to try them on? Yeah.
Like, that's what you get. Look.
I can see niggas. Listen, I get dizzy really easily. So if I put those things on, I'll be like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'll probably have like a step back.
Oh, no. People, it's funny because you wear them at, like, I'll wear them to festivals or like parties I used to throw in nightclubs, and people are already on another level, and then they're like,
"Who are you?"
They're probably already drunk.
Yeah.
So, Rockstar, what was that moment like when you're sitting down? All of a sudden, that box come through, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, am I really going to be on Big Brother, the show I love?" What was that moment like?
It was crazy. I mean, finding out that I was going to be, it was so nuts. So, like, the only reason I even applied to Big Brother is because I had Isaac, who was a complete surprise. I had a 10-year IUD, and he said, you don't to that. And I got pregnant with him. I was managing a club, and I was like, okay, so I stopped working in December, and my mom was like, Angela, you should really try out for Big Brother. She was like, you're such a character. And I was like, all right, Mom, I'll send it the tape. I'll send it in. Fine, I'll send it in. And then, like, I got the call, and then it just started rolling. And, like, you really don't know. Yeah. For, like, I mean, they really keep you, like, okay, you made it. You're going. Pack your stuff. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're like, slow it down. I just got the box. You're like, wait a minute.
You see, it's so much stuff that a lot of people don't know about, like, you know, what happens, you know, from the moment that you submit your audition to the phone calls afterwards. Were you surprised with how the process went?
What's that?
Were you surprised of the whole process of getting on the show that no one knows about? Like the audition rounds or how many producers you have to see or things like that?
It was crazy. I mean, you know, we can't really talk about that or whatever because they like to have their secrecy. But I think the craziest thing was seeing people not make it, and you would see, like, because you're in a location, and then you would see people leaving with their stuff, like crying or whatever.
Wow.
Oh yeah. But you're not. I mean, but I think that there were several reality shows casting during so you would see all sorts of people leaving.
For a lot of
you would eye up. You're not allowed to talk to anybody, but you would eye them up. Like, could this
that's
be somebody
competition.
that I was
Okay. Like, I see
yeah,
it right here. You know, I can do bad.
Wait, so you're not allowed to really converse with anybody there? It's just like,
no.
there for
you
one
literally, the first time you talk to anybody in the house is when you're in the house. Like, you literally have had not a conversation with anybody before.
Wow.
There we go.
Whoa.
Get out of here.
Whoa. Yeah.
Sorry. I had to put
okay.
my phone. I got all
Wow,
this
that's
basic stuff in the
amazing.
background. Yeah, you really don't know anybody until you get in there. And then you just kind of start trying to socialize or whatever and just meet people and figure out who you're vibing with. And like, I mean, really, I've said it before and I would say it again, but the people in the Hive, like, I would ride it out with them again until the wheels fell off. Like, those were just the realest, like, man, like, friends for life, really. And, you know, I have a lot of friends, so I wasn't going in there to make friends. I was trying to win money.
Right.
But,
and that's one thing, I want to ask you, too. When you first come to the show, you probably have your head of how I'm going to be when I get into that house. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be like that. And then when you get in and meet these people, you're probably like, oh, wow, I actually do like them. It's, your whole thing changed. So talk about that. And then I want to ask about your strategy right after that. What was Rockstar's main strategy of getting through this house? I want to know that.
Yeah. Well, so before I met anybody and before I even went in there, I was like, I have a musical theater background from when I was a child. Like, I did singing and acting on stage, and before I got into nightclubs when I was like in my early teens, and that's when I started like cocktail waitressing and then bartending and then managing. But I always did acting as a little person, so I was like, this will be fine. Like, I can do whatever. And then once you actually get in there, because my strategy, I was like, I'm a lie to everybody. They'll be like, what's your name? I'll be like, Dorothy. I was just gonna like tell just lie. I got in there and I was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna be myself and I'm gonna see how that works out. And I was like, if nothing else, then I could totally just, I don't know, maybe somebody will like me or something. And really, I got in there and everybody was younger than me. I was the only person with kids other than Steve. Like, I didn't know who was going to be in there with me. I didn't know if initially my first impression was that Sam was a soccer mom. Like,
oh, wow.
Like, she was mad when I told her that, by the way. Like, I guess I'm 50 with 80 kids. And I'm like, girl, chill.
Man, let me tell you. Sam scares me. Listen, Sam scares me. When she snaps, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
She's real cool. So, but when I actually got in there, I was like, I can't keep up a lie for this long. Like,
especially if you know people, get to know people.
Right. And where I'm from, like, in the DMV, like, people love me. So I was thinking, like, these people will love me. I'm older than them, but I'm cool. Like, I have life experience.
Yeah.
You fit it like a glove with all of them, especially like Sweaty and Bay and Hay and Face and Fessy and all of them.
Exactly.
Really,
oh
really
my God,
love.
I love them.
Because she's so down to earth. That's why.
Right. Yeah, you're super down to earth. That's why we really love you. Your name is so perfect. And like, who coined you Rockstar? Did you call yourself that, or was your family, your friends? Who done that?
Yeah, so Rockstar, Aradia, sit down in your chair the right way. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Rockstar was like something my mom used to call me when, like, I mean, this was going way back when in high school or whatever, and middle school, like, there used to be parties that we would go to.
You was a partier.
I was. So she was like, she was just like, you party like a rock star. And then people started calling me Angela Rockstar.
Right.
So it's always the full name. It's just one of them. I was one of them people that you would always say first and last name to. You got like Scotty, whoever, that you always say the first and last name. So that's how. So then they were like, when it was Big Brother time or whatever, they were like, well, do you go by anything else? And I was like, I go by Angela Rockstar. You can call me you could say my full name. Like, I don't go
Yes.
by anything else. That's all I've ever been called.
Right.
So then eventually it was like, I think at first they were like, all right, we'll call you. They'll just call me Angie, but that just didn't feel right, you know?
Right.
And so then they just started calling me Rockstar. But that's what a lot of people call me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people call
Hey,
me.
baby. I know you want to be on there too.
So
Yes. Oh, we hear you, baby. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
The
the
baby's got an
mashed potato
opinion.
down
But
there. Listen.
here's something you might not know.
Okay.
Because I don't know if a lot of people know that. Arady and Avalon, my daughters, their last name is Rockstar by birth. I wrote it on their birth certificate when they were born. So they're legitimately born rock stars.
Rock stars.
Are you serious?
They were born rock stars. Listen,
Yes.
Listen, she is so amazing. She is dope. You are the best mom ever.
Oh,
like
thank you.
They're gonna love you. Like, oh my gosh.
And you have
Yeah,
three,
they're pretty cool. Well, me and my first husband, we didn't really like sync up with our biological fathers, so we didn't want to carry on their last name.
Yeah.
So we just gave our kids their own last name.
Their own legacy. Yes.
So Isaac, who is Chris's son, his middle name is Rockstar. So he's got Chris's last name, but his middle name is Rockstar. So they're all like synced in together.
Oh my gosh.
That is so
That's
cool.
That's just so incredible.
Man,
Okay.
where were you when my mom named me? God
Listen,
damn it.
our name might be Pop
What the
Star.
hell?
Like
I know. Like, what the hell?
our kid's Pop Star, last
Yeah,
name Pop Star.
That you
That's
can.
right.
You can do it.
That's right. You ain't kidding. Okay,
Yes.
Rockstar. I have to ask you this question. Okay. So, why you and Brett did not get along? I know that Brett lied on you, and you snapped on him, and you clearly need that to happen.
Yeah.
But were you and Brett cool before that? Did y'all talk to each other before that, or nothing? And how do you feel about Brett now? But talk about that moment when Brett just lied right on you, and everyone was confused because I was ready to throw something at the television.
So Brett, literally did not talk to me the entire first week. Like, I would walk into a room and he would get up and walk out of it. The first time he said anything to me was to put my name in his mouth on some lying BS. So that's really, I mean, that is why I snapped, because I was like, and it's so funny to watch because, I mean, of course, I get sent that clip all the time. And it's like, you didn't campaign to me, but he did. Like, he didn't speak to me. And I'm like, how you not going to speak to me if you want to stay here or whatever?
Right.
Like, so rude.
Did people really get that, the fact that he was really trying to stay in the house and that he was throwing you under the bus? Did people really think that? Or did they really think that you was lying on him? Did they really think that?
The entire time, up until we got into the jury house. Hey. Up until we got into the jury house, and actually even, you know, Fessy, so big and just dumb. Even in the jury house, Fessy was like, but I mean, you did have an alliance with Brett, right? And I'm like, no.
Fessy.
No, I did not. I did not have an alliance with Brett ever. Brett didn't even talk to me. So, I mean, that was why I zapped out so hard. Like, aside from missing my baby's birthday, and, you know, like, I do birthdays real big, and I love my children.
That was the most disgusting
aside
thing
from that,
ever
like, he
heard.
Literally, I mean, I might as well have had, like, boils or leprosy or something. That did not talk to me. So that's why I really zapped, because I was just like,
how dare you? Like, I don't even speak, you didn't speak to me, so how can I lie on you? How would that even happen? That's the point that got me.
Something like
that had me through the roof. Especially, I don't like when a male, because then they can speak like that to another woman anyway.
Right.
So when so me went the other way, I immediately bucked up and said, "No, Rockstar, I got this."
I know.
If I was in that house, listen, I said, "No, I got this, Rockstar. Let me handle Brett." I could tell Brett a little, give him a thing or two. That's what I was like on this watching it.
Yeah.
You
so
know?
like,
don't
I
be
mean,
talking like that.
Aside from that, I think that my first impression of Brett, like, and you know, I mean, this is just based off of his gameplay and who he was in the house. I haven't met him outside of Big Brother yet. So, but his character, his Brett character, reminded me of when I would run a nightclub and they would ask to speak to the manager, and then you would go up and you'd be like, I have my dad's black card here, and I could buy his whole place. That's who he reminded me of. He reminded me of one of those people that like would leave the waitress $0 and be like, get a real job, honey. You know, like, and I was just like,
oh my gosh,
he does remind you of that. He has that like spoiled, rich kid kind of a vibe to him.
I was just like, first of all, this kid's not even talking to me. Yeah. And second of all, this is my read based on me being good at people. So that was my first impression. We did get to know each other better in the jury house. Right. And I think that I think a lot of what he was doing was a character, but that character read to me that way.
Right. I think the people that align each other in the house deserve to be with each other. Like, I think level 6 people deserve to be level 6. So I think the Falte people deserve to be a Falte.
Oh, yeah.
But do you think level 6 actually beat y'all, or do y'all think that y'all beat yourselves?
Yeah. I would go with a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, definitely they had some very, they had some good competition people. Tyler certainly was killing it. Casey had the potential to kill it. I still wonder if she threw some of the things at the very beginning. Yeah. I personally feel like she may have, to not get noticed and kind of play that role, because I really felt that way throughout. Like, she's throwing stuff. Yeah. But also, we imploded. We never trusted each other. We would have moments of trust, but like, Hales was probably the person I was closest to throughout. Haley. And I love her, and she's just her so much. A doll face. But really there was a point where I was like, do you and Brett, like, are you guys secretly boyfriend and girlfriend, like, outside
because
of here? Because of their Texas A&M connection and wherever he was, whatever Roll Tide was, Alabama, wherever that was. I didn't pay attention to the shirts, but certainly wasn't talking to me. So, but I actually did question, at one point, like, because they were so tight, I'm like, is this like a secret thing? So even Haley, who I completely trusted, there was still that element of like, and when I got home, Chris, my man, he said to me, the first thing he said was, at what point did you decide in your alliance that your motto was trust no one, not even each other? And I was like, bet. I mean, I think as soon as we all walked in the door, we were like, you know what? Big Brother is about backstabbing, so you can't even trust your best friend. Oh. Whereas I think level 6 completely trusted each other. And I even made like a tweet where I gave it up to Brett, because I'm only on episode 3, but it was like in episode 2 or episode 3 or whatever. Brett is sitting there with the level 6 people in the HOH room, and he says, now we can't get paranoid and we have to absolutely trust each other. And he went through that, whereas my group of people was always like, because the votes flipped. I mean, and we didn't know we couldn't figure out who it was. And there was never a moment of, I know absolutely that it's not you. Yes. And for me, I didn't understand why. I mean, it would have been great if I was that amazing to pull it off without ever talking to those other people. Right. For me, like, I totally trusted my people because I'm a good judge of people. But there were moments where I was like, well, Bae, you go talk to the other side all the time. Or Haley, you really blend in over there. Like, where's the Scotty? Tyler very smartly said to us that the only person he trusted in the house was Scotty. So we're always thinking Scotty is, a flip or whatever. And so,
Tyler was amazing.
I mean, that was good, right? So there were a lot of moments where we just couldn't even get a trust on each other to function further.
They messed with y'all heads a lot.
Yeah, they did.
First, so Rockstar, can you please say hi to Liz and Sierra?
Hi, Liz and Sierra.
There you go. They're like Sarah right there. And also, someone just asked a question, which is a really, really good question. Where do you see, if you were made yourself into the final two, what was your plans to get there?
So my plans was that Haley and I were gonna go to final two.
Mm-hmm.
We had an alliance called Slitherpuff.
Slitherpuff. That's okay. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
When me, Bailey, and Haley had a meeting at one point where we were like, let's be final three. Mm-hmm. And I would have been fine with that too. Even if I got knocked out, even if I didn't make it to like, I wanted that to happen. And, Haley was real funny because she would like corner me and she was like, let me tell you something. If we make it to final two, I'm just standing up there and I'm going to be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're not even cool. Like, she was like, you're winning this thing if we make it to final two. Like, she was like, I'm going to tell all these people lots of things. And I'm like, you are so funny. You are such a trip. So I think that like, I had this idea going in that like if I could work with a pretty girl that can play a game that I can't play anymore because I'm older and in a committed relationship or whatever. Haley went in there single, but that's not exactly why we became friends. It just worked out with my plan, and I was like, and I'm gonna try and ride it out with a showmance because that would at least get me, you know, I have to keep them not being targeted, whoever they are. So for me, like strategically, I was like, okay, Swaggy and Bailey, Haley and Fessy, me, this looks like if either of these showmances keep going, then I could be the third wheel on that. Yes. And I really felt like my people would listen to me because I'm very insightful when it comes to people. I get a good read on people. It's one of the reasons I've made a great manager. I know how to delegate responsibilities to get people to be at their optimum talent level.
Baby.
Yes.
And so I never went in thinking that I was going to be good at competitions. That wasn't even in my mind. What I was thinking was I'm going to be a great advisor to some comp beasts.
Right.
And that
will people in your alliance strategize that get you
exactly. And it wasn't riding coattails or anything because I had very valid wisdom and advice and like experience to put in to whatever was going on. And that's how I felt. I had just had a baby in December. Did you go? Yeah, it was not at the full potential of like, I had been chilling after having the baby. So like I said, I felt really good about the way I looked, but it wasn't like I was ready to go run marathons and stuff.
Right.
Which I probably never will be, actually. Don't put me in a marathon. But I would be on a float, though. I would be in a parade, just not like in a marathon.
Mm-hmm. So I have to ask you another question, too. And this is the one. The OTEP competition. OTEP? I know that's the one, the competition. With the whole thing with Tyler, I was trying to figure out your strategy by giving him that answer.
That was not strategy. So there was no, that was me standing up there going, there is no way possible that I'm winning this thing with this kid. So I doubted myself. Can you guys hear me?
A little bit. Very little.
All right, hold on. Is this better?
Yeah, that's...
I don't know why. Maybe this is a better connection over here. Because you guys are breaking up a little. Okay. So, it was really just me doubting myself. Every single time I ran up there, I checked with the person next to me. Is this the right answer? And then when it came to just me and Tyler, and I saw him run up with a different color bottle, I assumed that I had the wrong bottle because I just figured there was no way possible that I was coming in, that I was doing this, that I was winning. I just really doubted myself. So I turned to him because I knew that I had time to go run down and get the right bottle. And I said, the answer, turns out he had the wrong answer. So he ran down. Whereas if I just would have held it to myself, I would have won the whole thing. But like I've said many times, and like I feel in my heart of hearts, nobody else could have helped. Nobody else could have been there for Bailey like I was at the jury house. I'm a mom. I've been through similar experiences.
Right. Things happen for a reason.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you needed to be there during that moment.
Yeah, everybody said I was yelling at my TV. I know people said I was screaming at my TV.
Girl, when that moment happened, when you gave to Tyler, I was trying to figure out what happened. I literally was, everyone shot the TV. I just went like,
yup.
I know, and when
girl, because you understand, like, people at home, I know you probably heard this, but people at home, I swear, was rooting for Falte, was rooting for y'all were like the good guys.
Yeah.
And I think people really felt your spirit. I felt your spirit, and I really wanted y'all to win, or someone in that group to win. So when you made it that far, and when Haley made it that far, and Bailey, I mean, I was rocking with y'all girls so much, and Fessy is rocking for all of y'all. And I was really pulling for y'all, but I almost passed out.
When you said, I know.
I saw that moment, I'm getting back to that moment. I'm getting back to that moment, but hey.
When I realized that he had the wrong answer and he was going down to get the right answer, I started cussing myself out. And
I know you did.
I cannot believe I just did that. Like, I could not.
It's easy for us to be at home and think okay, why did she do this? But when you're enthralled in a competition and when
it's different.
It's so much elements that you don't know that goes on in the house.
Yeah, your adrenaline is pumping when you're in those competitions, and you can't even think straight. So it's like you're trying to come up with these answers real quick, and then at the very end, where I actually got up there before Tyler, instead of trying to think about it, the only thing I thought was, okay, well, Caitlin only had one vote to stay, and Bailey only had one vote to stay, so they had to be the two people.
Yeah.
Not even thinking. And if Scotty hadn't flipped that vote, which I know why he was trying to do it, Swaggy was supposed to be, he was supposed to be 8-4, and it was, anyway, it made sense in my head to go get Bailey and Caitlin again, and that was all for that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Do you think the demise of your alliance happened when Caitlin flipped?
100%.
Thank you.
100%. We could not trust each other anymore. I really felt that Swaggy was kind of essential to us. I looked at Swaggy and Fessy like knights on a chessboard, and they're like your power players that you kind of put out there, and they take the championship for you. And I really felt like they were essential to my personal game, as I did not feel like a knight. I felt like a bishop that was trying to play for queen. You see, like I was trying to become the queen, but I was a bishop, and I needed my knights. See, everybody talks about pawns, but the game is so much bigger than that.
I believe that.
And I really think from initial jump off, had we had Steve stay versus Sam, and yes, I love Sam as a person, but like, had we had him stay, then we would have had we would have been the house the entire time.
Yes.
And Sam did whatever vote Tyler wanted her to, so he really had 2 votes the entire time.
Yes.
So had that first week, had Steve stayed, and Sam gotten out, then we would have been ahead right there. So
right.
That's a good thing. Break it down. Okay.
That was a cool breakdown. Now I understand so much clearly how your process and thinking was, for everything. And and again, you never know until you actually get in there. That's what it seemed like.
We're looking at it from our point of view, obviously, as viewers.
Right, and how it was chopped and edited and things like that. But when you spend so much time in one house with all these people, a lot of emotions and craziness go on. I may think you are my friend, but then you might say something to somebody. I'm like, you know what, Angel? I don't know. Like, you know, even though I feel close to you, but why are you talking to her?
Right. Oh yeah, no. The paranoia is real. Like, and there's not an escape from it because you're so engulfed in this experience and there's no distractions outside of it and you can't talk to anybody outside of it, even to just be like, hey, yo, these bitches are getting on my nerves. Like, you know, so it just festers within you, the paranoia and the agitation. And like, I thought I was patient because I have kids, but like I realized that this is a whole